Today we are discussing about Ogive curve. Okay, I have given you the ഇത് കിട്ടിയില്ലേ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് വാട്സപ്പിൽ ഞാൻ അയച്ചിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നു എല്ലാവർക്കും കിട്ടിയില്ലേ അലീന
Yes, sir.
കിട്ടിയില്ലേ ഓക്കെ അപ്പോൾ അത് തന്നെയാണ് നമ്മൾ ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്യുന്നത് എനിവേ യു ക്യാൻ ലിസൺ ഫോർ ദ ഡിസ്കഷൻ. So this is an example, histogram, frequency, polygon, and Ogives. We have discussed in detail in the last class. Okay, let us consider some example. So this is an example representing the data of record high temperature for each of the 50 states. Okay, there are 50 states, and this is the example from country, and I have 56. Okay, anyway, that is not given here which country is present. This is the range of what is the temperature, range of temperature 99.5 to 104.5. There are two pupils having that temperature, and 104.5 to 109.5 age is the frequency, is the age. 109.5 to 1. So similarly, you can see this data. So how can we draw a histogram? So this is the histogram corresponding to this data. What is how can we draw? You just represent the region. This is not 5. Yeah, it is represented as 5.5. That means 95.5, 99.5. Instead of 99.5, they have what is it written as 5.5, then 10.5 instead of 104.5. So what amount reduced? 94 is reduced from each of the class. So you can just find out the structure. 104.5 to 106.5, that means 10.5 to 15.5, the frequency is 2, and all other frequencies are displayed here. So by seeing this, we can understand the yellow region. That means that is high, that is having the highest frequency. So then we can look at the what is the data given. So the class boundary 109.5 to 114.5 equal to 18. That is having the highest frequency. Okay, so we can get a first information using the height of this histogram. So this is the polygon, frequency polygon. By plotting smooth curve to the middle point of, so the middle point of 5.5 and 10.5, that is h. Okay, middle point of 10.5 to 15.5, that is 13. So you can draw the polygon like this using the histogram. So that is usually called as polygon. So frequency polygon. Okay, so this is an example. So this is Ogive curve, that is less than cumulative frequency. Okay, we can add this frequency cumulatively. That means what will be the cumulative frequency? First cumulative frequency is 2, next is 10, next is 28, next is 41, next is 48, next is 49, and last is 50. So that number is recorded, and we have what is that? They have drawn a Ogive curve, cumulative frequency curve. That is actually called a cumulative frequency curve. In another, sorry, yeah, in this we have another example. Okay, so this is another example. You can see we have to draw a histogram for the given data. This is the range of yield in grams, GMS, grams, number of plants. So in this region, in this yield, or 26 plants are providing yield in this region. Okay, that is the information. So how can we plot a histogram? Yeah, just draw the pillars according to the frequency. Okay, here the range is not is not here. Anyway, we can assume that this the endpoints of this interval will be 2.5 to 3.5, 6.5 to 7.5, 7.5 to 8.5, 9.5. Yeah, color is given here, 9.5 to 10.5. So this is another type of representation. So in this histogram, we can see the what is that, frequency diagram. So what is the specialty of this diagram? We can conclude that this region has highest frequency. What is that region? 5.5 to 6.5. So at a glance, we can assume that the number of what is that, number of plants providing highest yield is 26, and the range of the yield is 5.5 to 6.5. Okay, so this is example. So now we can plot the frequency polygon through this histogram, then using the midpoints of, just point out the midpoints of each and every pillars. Okay, and then plot like this. So that is usually called what is that, frequency polygon. Okay, sometimes in newspaper you can see either histogram or this type of frequency polygons. So using these frequency polygons, we can easily understand the structure of the distribution. That is a speciality. People are commonly used this frequency polygon for representing the data. This is a smooth curve drawn through. നാളെ അങ്ങോട്ട് രഞ്ജന So this is a smooth curve drawn through that frequency polygon. So from this smooth curve, what type of information we can draw? So that means the distribution is almost bell-shaped. Okay, it is symmetric about 6 or 6.5. Almost, not exactly symmetric, not perfectly symmetric. At the same time, you can infer, like I shall show you some figures. The theoretical requirement of this frequency polygon is for the identification of distribution. Okay, you will study later. You might have heard the normal distribution. What is the specialty of normal distribution? Yeah, it is bell-shaped, symmetric. At the same time, you can see that there are some skewed distributions. Yeah, this is skewed distribution. This is exactly normal distribution. It is bell-shaped, symmetric. So you can see that if the histogram is of the form is almost symmetrical, we can say that the distribution of the data is normal. Otherwise, I'll show you skew normal case. So what is the special skew normal? Yeah, it will not be perfectly symmetric and bell-shaped. At the same time, yeah, it will be like some left positive skewed, negative skewed, symmetrical, etc. So it may be like this one, etc. So we can say that the distribution of the data will be some skew normal. Okay, so or some other distribution other than normal distribution. So for the identification of what is that distribution, for the identification of distribution we can use the frequency curve. So that is a theoretical advantage of frequency curve. Theoretical advantage of histogram and frequency curve. Okay, the identification of the distribution. We can say that this is not exactly normal. At the same time, it is almost symmetrical and bell-shaped. So we can analyze the data using some other non-normal distribution. For example, uh, exponential distribution or so that is the theoretical advantage of plotting histogram and frequency curve. Okay. Another is Ogive curve. We have two type of Ogive curves, that is less than cumulative frequency curve and greater than cumulative frequency curve. So that are less than Ogive. Here the cumulative frequency are plotted against upper boundary of respective class interval. Greater than Ogive is here the cumulative frequencies are plotted against lower boundaries of the respective classes. We have already studied the method of finding less than cumulative frequency and greater than cumulative frequency. We can add cumulatively 4 plus 7. What is 4 plus 7 is 11. 4 plus 7 plus 6, that is 17. 4 plus 7 plus 6 plus 10, 27. 4 plus 7 plus 6 plus 10 plus 2, 29. So that is less than cumulative frequency. Similarly, we can find out the greater than cumulative frequency, that is total is 29, 4 is subtracted, then 25, then again 7 is subtracted, 18, then again 6 is subtracted, 12, 10 is subtracted, 2. So these are the less than cumulative and greater than cumulative curve. These are usually called Ogive curves. Okay. If we plot the data, plot with respect, plot based on this less than cumulative frequency and greater than cumulative frequency, that curve is usually called the Ogive curve. Okay, this is usually called the Ogive curve. Okay, less than cumulative frequency and greater than cumulative frequency. So we can infer about the population distribution and the pattern of the distribution, whether it is normal, non-normal, etc. So that type of information can be drawn using the frequency histogram, frequency curve, spot frequency curve, then Ogive curve. Okay, വളരെ പ്രധാനപ്പെട്ടാണ്. പ്രധാനപ്പെട്ട മീൻസ് നമുക്ക് തോന്നും വളരെ സിമ്പിൾ ആണെന്ന് തോന്നുന്നു, അതേസമയം it is more important for the identification of the distribution or displaying the data or saying something to common people using graphs. Okay, common people can understand which is higher, which is lower, or which is very important, which is less important. So that type of inference can be made by common people by seeing this type of thing. So that is the advantage of using the statistical graphs in displaying the data. Okay, so in the so this is another example. This is the previous example. This again plotted with exact what is that temperature. X-axis is denoted with the temperature and y-axis frequency. The name of this curve is record of high temperature, etc. So, so, this, so let us consider yeah, this same example at the same time. They have midpoints are noted, frequencies are again written. Then you through that midpoints, they have plotted the frequency polygon. Okay, very simple to understand. It's very simple. You can draw in your notebook using this example itself. In our textbook, there is no plenty of examples. In most of the textbooks, they are starting with the mean median mode. So we have to use this type of online materials. Anyway, this is useful for understanding. So yeah, this here also they have given the class boundary and cumulative frequency. Cumulative frequency means, yeah, 2 plus 8, that is 10. Then 2 plus 8 plus 10, that is 28. Okay, so similarly all other cumulative frequency they have given less than cumulative frequency and they have plotted the dots, the exact points, okay, the right end points of each and every interval. Okay, in at 104.5, they have plotted this first information. Then, okay, so they have plotted a smooth curve. It's a curve, a line joining these points. Okay, this curve is plotted by joining the lines. Okay, so that is the procedure. So, yeah, you can see that. Suppose a researcher asking that, what is the distribution of temperature? Okay, less than or equal to 114.5. So we can easily observe that it is 28. So if we are asking what is the frequency of data, it, that is less than or equal to 124.5. So we can easily go to this line and observe that what is the y value here. Okay, so that will be 48. Okay, so that type of information can be inferred by using this type of cumulative curve. Even though we don't have data like this, even though in newspaper we can see this type of graphs only, we cannot see this type of data sometimes. Okay, so if we are getting the graph like this, then we can simulate the data. Okay, we can identify the datas. Okay, for example, suppose we want to find out the lesson cumulative frequency up to 129.5, then that we can observe as like this. Just to look at the y-axis point corresponding to this dot. So that will be exactly 48. Okay, so we need to give this graph only. So in this graph, all the concepts are included. For example, histogram we can simulate. We can simulate the frequency polygon. We can simulate the data. Everything we can generate. Okay. So using this graph. So that is the advantage of Ogive. Just to give the graph, then we can simulate or generate the data. Okay. For example, the frequency in between 129.5 and 134.5. So that is the difference of these 2 points. That is 50 minus 48. That will be 2. So we have generated the frequency of this region. Okay. Similarly, for this region, we can generate the all the regions. We can generate the data. So that is the advantage of this Ogive curve. So these are also some other examples. This is another example. They have written. Okay, just leave it. You write only one example from this part. Okay, no need to write all these things. Just one example from this part. That is first example. No need to write all these things. Just what is it? Draw the what is it? Draw this. നിങ്ങൾ ചെയ്യേണ്ട ഒരു കാര്യം, ഈ പ്രോബ്ലം എഴുതുക. ഈ പ്രോബ്ലത്തിൻ്റെ ഹിസ്റ്റോഗ്രാം വരയ്ക്കുക. അതിൻ്റെ കൂടെ അതിന് മുകളിലുള്ള ഒരു സ്മൂത്ത് ഡോട്ട് പ്ലോട്ട് ചെയ്തതിനു ശേഷം സ്മൂത്ത് കർവ് വരയ്ക്കുക, Ogive കർവ് വരയ്ക്കുക. ഓക്കെ, ഈ ഹിസ്റ്റോഗ്രാം വരച്ചാൽ ഏറ്റവും നല്ല ഇതിൽ കറക്റ്റ് പോയിന്റ്സ് മാർക്ക് ചെയ്ത്, മറ്റേത് അത് അവർ ഷോർട്ട് കട്ട് ചെയ്തിട്ടാണ് വെച്ചത്. ഹിസ്റ്റോഗ്രാം വരയ്ക്കുമ്പോൾ ഇത് വരച്ചാൽ മതി. ഓക്കെ, മിഡ് പോയിന്റ്സ് കണ്ടുപിടിച്ച് ഫ്രീക്വൻസി കണ്ടുപിടിച്ച് അതിൻ്റെ കുമുലേറ്റീവ് ഫ്രീക്വൻസി കണ്ടുപിടിച്ച് ഡോട്ട് വരച്ച്. ഓക്കെ, ഇതൊന്ന് ഇങ്ങനത്തെ ഈ സ്റ്റെപ്പുകളൊന്നും എഴുതൊന്നും വേണ്ട കേട്ടോ. കണ്ട സ്ക്രിപ്റ്റാണല്ലോ, അവർ കൃത്യമായിട്ട് അവർ എഴുതി തന്നുള്ളൂ ഈ ഗ്രാഫ് വരെയുള്ള കാര്യമായിരിക്കും. അതുപോലെ ഇതിലും ഒരു എക്സാമ്പിൾ ഉണ്ട് ഈ ഒരു ആർട്ടിക്കിളിൽ, അതും നിങ്ങൾ വരയ്ക്കാം കേട്ടോ. അത് രണ്ടും നിങ്ങൾ നോട്ടിൽ വരച്ച് ഫ്രീക്വൻസി പോളിഗൺ വരച്ച് വരച്ച് നിങ്ങൾ സബ്മിറ്റ് ചെയ്യുക കേട്ടോ. അപ്പോൾ അത് ചെയ്യുമ്പോഴത്തേക്ക് നിങ്ങൾ ഒജീവ് എന്താണ് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ എന്താണ് ഫ്രീക്വൻസി എന്നുള്ള കാര്യങ്ങൾ ഡീറ്റെയിൽ ആയിട്ട് നിങ്ങൾ പഠിക്കും. ഓക്കെ.